One property, three price tags. Price tag 1, the fair market value, assessed by a valuer on the bank's own panel. Tens of crores. Price tag 2, from the same report, the distress value. What the property should fetch even in a forced, hurried sale. Still crores. Still most of the market value. Price tag 3, the reserve price the bank actually fixed for the auction. Below even the distress value. In the pattern we study today, less than 1/5 of what the bank's own current valuation says the property is worth. 2 of these price tags were written by experts the bank itself appointed. The third was written by the bank. Today we ask the only question that matters. Welcome back to Dr. Mind Forensics. This is the episode the whole series has been building toward, the anatomy of reserve price suppression. Start with a fact that surprises most borrowers. When a bank sells your property under sarfaesi, it is not selling its property. It is selling yours to recover only what it is owed. Every rupee above the debt belongs to you. The law even has a beautiful old name for your right, the equity of redemption. That is why the courts have said again and again in Matthew Varghese, in the line of cases that follow it, that the secured creditor conducting a sale acts, in substance, as a trustee of the borrower's interest. The bank's duty is not merely to recover its dues, it is to obtain the best possible price. And the rules build that duty into procedure. Obtain a valuation from an approved valuer. Fix the reserve price on the basis of that valuation. Give the mandatory notices, you know this from episode 3. Understand the 3 numbers inside every valuation report because the entire fraud pattern lives in the gap between them. Fair market value, what a willing buyer pays a willing seller, no pressure. Realizable value, a modest discount for a quicker sale. Distress value, the floor. The forced sale, worst case number, typically still the large majority of market value. So here is the honest question. If the floor, the worst case forced sale number, computed by the bank's own expert, is still crores, what does it mean when the reserve price is fixed below the floor? It means someone has stopped trying to get the best price and has started trying to guarantee a sale to somebody. Watch the 5 plays. Play 1, the stale report. The rules speak of valuation. They are less loud about when. So the bank quietly relies on a report that is 5, 8, 10 years old, from before the highway came, before the industrial park, before land prices tripled. A decade of appreciation erased by choosing the oldest paper in the file. Play 2, the triple discount. Take the market value, slide down to distress value, that's 1 discount, then fix the reserve below even that, a 2nd discount. Then, when the first auction failed, reduce it again, a 3rd. Each step looks small and procedural. Stack them, and a property worth tens of crores walks out of the door for a fraction. Play 3, the failed auction ritual. Here is a pattern every borrower should know. An auction is announced with poor publicity. Remember the ghost publications of episode 3, and, unsurprisingly, no bidders come. That failure is then used as proof the property isn't worth much, justifying the next cut. The bank manufactures the evidence for its own discount. Play 4, the bundle. 10 separate parcels, a shop here, a house there, farmland elsewhere, clubbed into lots so large that ordinary local buyers cannot bid at all. Fewer bidders, weaker competition, lower price. Ask yourself, who can buy a bundle that size? Usually someone who knew it was coming. Play 5, the friendly buyer. And that brings us to the last play. In auction after suspicious auction across this country, the winning bidder turns out to be connected, a relative of someone in the chain, a regular at these sales, a buyer who bids exactly once, exactly at the reserve, unopposed. Courts have a phrase for the organized version of this, a bidding ring. Now apply the oldest test in forensic reasoning, Cui bono? Who benefits from a low reserve? Not the bank as an institution. A higher price recovers more of its own loan. Not the borrower, the surplus was theirs. The beneficiaries are the buyer who gets crores of property for a fraction, and anyone whose interest travels with that buyer. A low reserve price is a wealth transfer. The only question is from whom to whom. Here is the counterattack, 4 moves. Move 1, capture the bank's own numbers. Every valuation the bank ever obtained on your property is a document you can demand through the tribunal's power to order production, through your reply, through discovery. The single most dangerous document in the bank's file is not yours. It is theirs. Their own panel valuer's report, contradicting their own reserve price. No tribunal can wave that away as a borrower's exaggeration. The bank chose the expert. Move 2, build the ladder of numbers. On one page, in one column, the government guideline value, the bank's earliest valuation, the bank's latest valuation, a current independent valuation you commission, recent sale deeds of comparable land nearby. And at the bottom, in red, the reserve price. When a tribunal sees that ladder, the argument makes itself. You are not calling anyone dishonest. The column does it for you. Move 3, compute the gap and say it plainly. The reserve price is less than 1/5 of the creditor's own current valuation. One sentence. Every judge, every journalist, every neighbor understands it instantly. Precision of this kind is worth 50 pages of adjectives. Move 4, attack the process, not just the number. Was a fresh valuation obtained at all? Was the reserve fixed on the basis of it, as the rules require, or in spite of it? Were lots bundled without reason? Was each failed auction genuinely publicized? Courts, including the Supreme Court, vasu shetty is one example, have set aside sales where the mandatory valuation and reserve process was violated. The number raises the eyebrow. The broken process wins the case. And one honest caution, as always on this channel, courts protect concluded auctions too. Bona fide purchasers have rights, and a borrower who sleeps over the sale notice and wakes up only after confirmation fights uphill. Which is why episodes 3 and 6 matter so much. Challenge early, challenge before confirmation, and put the valuation dispute on record at the very first opportunity. The clock, remember, is always the elephant's favorite weapon. The rules so far. 1. Tribunals discount indignation. They cannot discount an unserved notice. 2. The bank's silence is your loudest evidence. 3. Presumptions die when the records speak. And today, Rule 4, the one this entire episode proves. Cheap auctions are not accidents. Ask who benefits. Next Monday, Episode 5, the darkest arm of the elephant. Men at the gate before any lawful order. A family locked out of its own property, and a police station that says, it's sub judice, we cannot interfere. We will show why those 3 words are legally wrong, what the Supreme Court has said about muscle power recovery, and the exact escalation ladder when the protectors look away. If you know anyone whose property is heading to auction, send them this episode today and tell them to ask the bank one question in writing. Produce the valuation on which this reserve price was fixed. Watch what happens. Subscribe, press the bell. See you Monday. Nothing in this video is legal advice, and nothing here is a comment on any pending matter. Consult a qualified advocate for your own case. Jai Hind.